Everybody, welcome in. This is episode number blank, blank, blank of the Side Hustle podcast here. Of course, on all streaming platforms and in audio form too on iHeartMedia, which we'll maybe talk about a little bit about that a little bit later on. We forgot to talk about that last week about our glorious return to iHeart, which I'm sure everyone was just on pins and needles for. So
Yeah, we didn't get to that last time.
But no, it's going to be an exciting show, as you can see by the tags. Anthony Alford is, of course, live from Bedford, OH, enjoying his time here, and then we're in Hawaii, over here on Waikiki. So, yeah, this is a first, at least for us, as far as doing the podcast remotely, away from the confines of the wonderful studios in Parma, Ohio, and shooting out here.
So how is it out there? So it's you and your wife out there in Hawaii?
It is. And this drink. Us three. We're just hanging out.
First off, what's the drink?
I misspoke before. This is a pineapple margarita, actually. Courtesy of our hotel bar, which is fantastic. So,
How's it been out there so far in Hawaii?
So I think I've lost weight here, believe it or not, because of all the walking we've done. We didn't get a rental car. So this morning, for instance, we ended up, we hiked Diamond Head, which is the largest unactive volcano, I guess, in the entire world or something like that. That was fun. Pain in the ass if you have bad knees. Mahalo. But yeah, no, it was interesting to say the least, but it was fun. We enjoyed that. We actually went to Pearl Harbor earlier in the week too, which is great. Of course, my grandfather served in World War II in the Navy. He was actually there when the attack happened, so being able to kind of see all that and what they've been able to do with the place too, and how they honored those that lost their lives and everything was awesome, and it was a great tribute to them. I know in the next couple of days we're doing a snorkeling tour. We're gonna go see turtles, all that kind of stuff. We're gonna have some fun. So it's been great. It's a mini vacation. It's only a week, but we're definitely enjoying every minute of it. So
Good. Well, I will show you my home studio, but today was laundry day, and there's some clothes been selected to air dry. So the only spot I can go for video purposes. I have clothes hanging or laying down all over the place. This apartment is not suitable during the week for visitors. So that's been my day on top of work, and then I have the TV going in the back behind this camera. YouTube multi-view, and it's distracting me. I have on one screen the NFL Network's replaying the Super Bowl, and then did you hear about this shooting? The Kansas City Chiefs parade.
yeah.
So that was on the other screen, and then other stuff was going on too. So there you go. That's NFL Network showing the game, and then everybody else, ESPN, everybody else showing actual news and stuff that's going on, and it is what it is. But it is Wednesday here, and I think Wednesday here is not as special as Wednesday in Hawaii.
Well, it's sunny, and we actually had a little bit of drizzle today, and it's like 75, 76 degrees today, so it's a little bit chillier than it has been the first few days we've been out here, but it's
So Kyle, do you remember the story I told you last week? I was broadcasting from Soak City those years ago. So I'm getting the penalty for it now. I'm paying the price because I hear you, and you sound great, and then I hear the water in the background. I hear the beaches, in the background. It sounds beautiful. It sounds great. If you hear water from my feed, that's not good. So
there's a leak, and Double A's gonna have to leave.
Yeah,
yeah. Couple of L's, unfortunately.
You go. This will not be. I'm going to be wrestling pipes. Instead, it's going to be a home improvement podcast, real quick.
From wrestling podcast to wrestling pipes. Double A Anthony Alford live in Bedford, Ohio.
So what? Since we last left off, a Super Bowl. There was a press conference, a couple of wrestling shows. Not much happened since we left off. First off, the press conference. You mentioned it on the TikTok, on the Side Hustle podcast TikTok, that you were not overly a fan, I guess, of the press conference. Do you still feel that way? I know it's been a week now, 6 days ago, but do you still feel that way?
It's served its purpose. It's the ever long lasting road of trying to turn Rock heel, so I get it. Roman Reigns, you said originally to me that he kind of looked more like the odd man out of all that. I told you Seth Rollins looked bad after that press conference. I didn't watch Raw this past week because I was a little busy, but I did watch some of the highlights, even from WWE TikTok, and then I looked on YouTube too. And the promo he gave to Cody about being his shield and all this, interesting. So the way they've been able to build off of the press conference, but the press conference itself, after first watching it, I felt underwhelmed. I felt disappointed. It kind of felt like they were just waiting to see who was, when the last four guys were going to come out. I felt like kind of a waste to have Bianca Belair there and not have her tease anything. Like, not have Jade Cargill come out or whatever, have someone else come out and maybe make it like a stare down like it was for Rhea and Becky. We kind of know we're going to get that probably at some point. And I get it. Like, I've heard the stories about possibly Jade or whoever being in the Elimination Chamber too and all that, which is great. But it feels like maybe they missed an opportunity with Bianca there. They just had her basically just jump around and twirl her hair and say, "I'm excited to go to WrestleMania, even though I don't have a match yet." Like, okay, what the fuck?
Right.
And that's why she opened it. I get it, but still, it's like, man, it felt like a little bit of a waste of time from that end. Or they should have allowed people to ask questions, at least at the beginning. I thought the lack of actually having seating and having it be like an actual press conference was interesting. It felt more like a promo event and less like a press conference, which is why they changed it to kickoff instead of saying, WrestleMania, press conference and pre-press conference. They just made it called kickoff. But up until that point, they were talking about it being like a press conference. So that's what I was assuming it was going to be like, was a sit down, we're going to talk our shit, that kind of stuff. Cody, to my knowledge, still has not given the reason why he let The Rock go and talk to Roman first and have that big stare down on that SmackDown, which he looks kind of bad for that. He looks indecisive. He looks confused. It's not good. Like, it's strange. So I don't get it. And my wife is putting stuff in my Crocs now. So there you go. But yeah,
let's see it. What we got there?
She's doing she's taking both of my my foot in the door. We got these little those pins you put in your Crocs from the Croc store out here. So she's doing that. But I'll show it to you when she's done. But
first of all, are you even allowed to do this podcast today? Like, did you have to get special permission to do this podcast?
No, so we did the hike this morning. We woke up at 6:30 in the morning and we did the hike because the sun gets hot out here. If you're trying to do a hike around 1-2 o'clock, you're gonna get burnt. So, and this is the longest sleeve shirt I've worn since I've been here. So that should tell you all you need to know. But nevertheless, we did that. We ended up walking 3.5 miles back from the mountain to our hotel. And then I worked out for 45 minutes. So the morning part was reserved for some activities, some lifting, some podcasting, and then the evening is where we're going to go out to dinner by the beach. It's going to be a fun time. So I get a little bit of a window.
I just want to make sure that Pete and I were not violating your time. Because you say I'm a big deal. You are actually. I mean. Be honest, it is a pretty big deal. Effort is a huge deal.
No comment.
I would say no comment. I'll say this. I think first off, the kickoff show, and I forgot until you said it that it was supposed to be a press conference, and then they renamed it the kickoff show. I thought the event itself. Overall, just the presentation, just the way it was shot. You had Michael Cole, you had Punk, you had McAfee and Big E. It was great to see him there. I thought the presentation was outstanding. I thought, as far as a television show, from the start all the way until the moment that we all talked about Triple H backstage with Jackie Redmond and then The Rock saying, you need to fix this or we will. I thought the television aspect of it was fantastic. I mean, to pull all of this off in a kickoff setting that was pretty much put together just to show off in Vegas, I thought it was fantastic. In terms of what you have said, Seth Rollins looks terrible, but I do believe Hart looking terrible is setting up for the Drew McIntyre championship run that's a coming. McIntyre's picking up the pieces. You are right about Bianca. It was nice to have her there. Wait a minute. Just won the Women's Rumble. They believe, well, it probably would have been a good time to have her in front of a live crowd on SmackDown as opposed to the kickoff event. Probably. But yeah, I expect with Bianca, is anything going to happen? He's just going to go out there. Hey, we have a new Hulu show. And bye-bye. And that was it. But from that point on, Rock, that guy now. He's the heel, and and off we go to this crazy road to WrestleMania, Kyle.
Yeah, it was. It served the purpose. I mean, like I said, I just wasn't. I'm much happier with how they've responded to it since then. I mean, yeah, Bayley would have been interesting, but I think they wanted to keep her in a main feature segment on SmackDown, talking a little more. And of course, we know with Dakota, her coming out finally, because she just would just be missing for 2 weeks and have no idea where she was, and still kind of like not sure where she stands per se. I mean, we may know more after this week's SmackDown or something like that, but she kind of like swung the chair around. It seemed like she was protecting Bayley, but Bayley was still like, I don't know if I want to be, next to you, like too close, chair out of the ring kind of stuff, or take it away from her. Like she was doing like subtle things where she still doesn't trust her because of all the stuff that's obviously went on. I thought about taking Japanese at some point so I could learn what they were saying when they were whispering about Bayley, but unfortunately, I'm learning more Hawaiian than Japanese at this point. But nevertheless, I mean, yeah, just weird. Like they could now. Obviously, I think that was the original plan was probably to have like Bianca and Charlotte have a thing at the kickoff, but unfortunately, with Charlotte being out, now we just get Andrade packages. But nevertheless, it's.
Well, I wonder how long, Kyle, that kickoff event was even planned. They fielded, 2,000 or 3,000 people. It seemed to me like it was a last-minute thing. But, I mean, you don't book an arena 5 days to spare. It seemed like I'm not sure if it was booked a couple of weeks ago in advance. I don't know what the turnaround time was.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's obviously a Triple H idea. I think he wanted to try and he's all about the hype machine and trying to get things trending and all of that stuff. And obviously, Rock slapping Cody is going to trend. Just from the standpoint of me just saying it, it sounds like, holy shit, that happened. But it's, I think it was that moment. And then it was, I told you, backstage with Triple H and Rock, when Rock was just like, fuck your censors, I'm just going to start swearing. Like that was cool. Like that felt like, okay, this is legit. He thinks he's above everybody. But if you notice, they're kind of recycling storylines from 15, 20 years ago. We talked about that before. Like now it's the authority storyline 10 years ago all over again, right? With Cody Rhodes going up against The Rock, who's a board member, and Roman, who's got this unbelievably long title reign. Before it was Daniel Bryan versus Triple H, who's obviously in a big seat of power. And of course, Randy Orton, who was a long champion. He's the face of WWE. He's the future, even though he's 35, whatever it was. It was all just the same kind of thing. Now it's being recycled through with The Rock added in. And people are talking about it, Rock and Roman together is obviously interesting. But it kind of clouds up someone like Seth, because if they do that thing you sent me, with this possible tag team match on night one of WrestleMania. I mean, is Seth really going to be okay to wrestle twice? I get it. In one match, it's probably going to be more of a. He's actually going to be more of a punching bag if you think about it in that first match because Cody's not taking that pin, especially if night two is Cody versus Roman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so let me bring that up here real quick since you said it. So there's a report. It's not. I don't think it's a credible report, but it's worth talking about. It's a good discussion point. So there's a report. Night one main event. A tag team match where on one side you would have Roman Reigns and The Rock face off against Seth Rollins and Cody on night one. That would be the night one tag team match, main eventing. Again, I don't think this report's credible, but worth thinking about. And I think to your point, in that scenario, Seth's the only one who would take the pin, and he's still injured. I think it's hard to forget, like, he is still injured. He still has to be cleared. And in a tag team scenario, Seth doesn't have to do much of the work. Cody could do most of the beating. Rock and Roman can go in. What do you think if that match? Again, I'm not sure if that report's true or anything like that. But what do you think about that possibility, that particular tag team match?
sounds like a fantastic match for Elimination Chamber in front of 60,000 screaming Australians. But the problem is they want Rhea Ripley to main event that event, so they can't. That match is obviously a main event, so they can't put that at Perth because it's Rhea's show. But her and Nia is going to go on last. Like, it's even beyond the Elimination Chambers. It's going to go on last. So it's kind of tough. I mean, I think most parties would prefer that to be an Elimination Chamber, just because, again, obviously it's a different event. You can get even more people into that stadium, obviously, with The Rock showing up and all that. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, you say Cody could take a lot of the beating in that match. I think it's the opposite. I think Seth would actually take more of the beating because that does line up Drew to be able to sweep in and basically kick him while he's down, kind of win the championship when it's not 100% Seth Rollins. And that gives Seth a fight back into it at some point after he's fully healed. Same thing goes for Punk. Let's say Drew holds the title until SummerSlam. Punk comes back, challenges him there, and beats him, right? Drew gets a little bit of a run, whatever. And then that's when Seth can, resurface a little bit, taking some time off and be like, hey, now we can do this. And Survivor Series, that kind of stuff, it's usually around the time where you think about those kind of matches like the Punks and the Rollins. If it's not going to be at WrestleMania or SummerSlam, obviously, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, the other big two. But, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like it's gearing stuff. And the problem is, too, so if someone loses that match, like, let's say Rock takes the pin in that match. He probably has the least amount to lose, if that makes sense, because he's not an active champion. He's not going to be fighting for the title.
And it's The Rock. It's The Rock. If The Rock loses,
who cares?
Way back, he's The Rock.
Exactly. Yeah, he's the one that because Seth can't lose that match. Like, Seth can't take that pin and then get beat by Drew too. He's gonna that's a Barry tree. Cody obviously can't lose because he's probably going to win the championship from Roman at WrestleMania now, because they can't not do it again. That's the issue. If they don't do it again, then people are going to stop watching WWE because they're going to be like, listen, we get the long game, but this has been multiple years now. Like, he's been back for this WrestleMania will be 3 years. Cody's been back, and if they don't jump on giving him that title, it's like
because everybody. Because now you're not actually making an effort to put over new stars. Now you can say, and I made a joke about the whole Cody thing last week in studio, but this time, if he does not get the job done in a proper way, then it's like, come on now.
You said the tag team match. What I think might be interesting is that they could do that. Rock takes the pin because of a screw up with Roman, some sort of miscommunication, whatever it is. So that leads to Cody and obviously Roman on night two. Oh no, Roman has to work back-to-back days, nightmare, right? But nevertheless, What happens in that scenario then is the Rock, heel Rock, costs Roman the championship because he stops Jimmy Uso, or Solo from entering in, that kind of stuff, getting involved. Cody wins it. They show a nod of respect. That keeps Roman heel. Rock's able to capitalize on being a dick until WrestleMania and get more people involved. And then you kind of have your choice after that. You can keep Rock heel and make Roman the babyface in that year-long build to 41, or you can keep it the way it is and have Rock flip back to like you cost me all this shit, you dishonored our family, that kind of thing, so now I need to take it from you, that kind of stuff. Cody took the title, I'm going to take your head of the table, like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I still think this is a big plan between Cody and Rock. I have a weird feeling that could be a thing too. When they say you haven't seen anything yet, they're big on these big surprises now. Cody and Rock working together because they still haven't explained why Cody gave him the Olay. Go ahead. Like, there's got to be something there. Because why would he do that? Cody's not a dumb person, right? And he's not portrayed as stupid. Like,
why would Cody not slap back? Why would he not fight back?
He let
obvious questions.
He let Jamie Noble hold him back, whoever it was, working as an executive with the suit on. Like, that's gonna stop a guy who's 37 and built like a brick shithouse from getting into the come on. Like, there's something there. And even if they play it up where Rock and Roman versus Seth and whatever it is, like, it still feels like there's some sort of, as he said, I'm going to take it all from you. But now here's the Rock. Like, it doesn't add up.
Here's the Rock. He doesn't have a neck. I don't know if you noticed that. Rock has no neck. Yeah,
he has a front neck and not a back neck.
Yeah. I like they're watching the Rock. I can't do it without laughing. Like, he doesn't have a neck. Like, it's just shoulders, like, up here. And the tank is like, he doesn't look like a human. That actually is my only complaint about this whole thing. Like, legit complaint. It's like, okay, Cody goes off stage, fine. We want larger than life characters. I get that. But Rock doesn't look like a human. It's like he looks photoshopped. He looks like when you line him up, his head and the animator put his head down too low and is blocking his shoulders. Like, it doesn't look right, man. I'm just saying. I will say this. I think that tag team match was intriguing because, first off, I'm a little surprised since this 2-night format has started. WWE has never really taken full advantage of one storyline carrying it over 2 nights.
Well, they did with the last year with the Bloodline one because Sammy and KO and the Usos was still
You're right.
Part. But even then, it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same people. Though they did get involved in Cody's match too. So it's kind of like, I mean, that's the first time they really tried it. I imagine it will be more of the same this year if they do this. I feel bad for like Bayley and Io and whatever it was, and obviously it's going to probably be Becky and Rhea, that kind of thing, where one of those two matches definitely should be a main event. The problem is the storyline right now, especially with The Rock being involved, he's going to kind of push his way into it. And I don't think, like, some people say he's doing it on purpose. Like, I think it's more just organically because he's who he is. Like, it just automatically puts him in that spot. Like, he doesn't. I'm sure he didn't come in saying like, "Yeah, I need to main event WrestleMania." He's like, "No, I'm just The Rock out here." Unfortunately, I am The Rock too, and I saw the one argument that someone was saying like, "Oh, The Rock's not as big a star as Taylor Swift is," and I was like, "Okay, like Taylor Swift can sell at WrestleMania 10 nights in a row, but The Rock can't even like." What are we talking about?
That's
like
Taylor Swift right now against everybody.
Like who's the bigger star? I mean, it's debatable. Movie star is The Rock, but international like icon pop star is Taylor Swift. The Rock doesn't sing except for his rock concerts, which I'm hoping we get a few of those before it's all said and done. But nevertheless,
we got to,
right?
But there's some like longtime fans. I had a little poll question up, like which matches you prefer to see, and people who have not, they're longtime fans, but they'll watch, every single week. They want Roman and Rock. They know The Rock. They know. I'm sure with WrestleMania in Philadelphia, let's just be real. There are people, the moment where The Rock came back, the next day they got their ticket for WrestleMania. That's just business.
There's history there too, right? Because Rock and Roman, that's where Roman won his Royal Rumble, and The Rock got booed when he came out to help him afterwards, or whatever it was. It's like, okay, so they had the story there. The problem is, and this is why I had a problem with you kind of saying, oh, Seth and CM Punk doesn't have to happen. Striking while the iron's hot is very important, because now this scenario happens, right? Where it's like, well, fuck, but Cody kind of deserves it. So it's like, how do we still capture that moment and still get those people satisfied while also helping all the other fans that are just like wanting Cody to win the championship at WrestleMania. It's tough because it's all about timing. Like, and I get like the round number too. You think, okay, round number, that makes a lot of sense for Rock and Roman. It's 40. It's WrestleMania 40. But again, I don't think they planned on Cody still having this level of popularity as a race car. But
hold on, turn the camera. Turn the camera.
It was somewhere down there. I don't know where they were at.
Oh.
Yeah. We're right off a main drag in Waikiki in Honolulu, so it's like, yeah, it's right there. But that's tough, man. Like, I don't envy WWE and Triple H. What's up, buddy? How you doing? Oh, there's a couple of them. There's a couple birds right there, just hanging out.
Look at that.
Yeah, go figure. You can't go inside the room, though. Sorry. Yeah. Well, I promised this too. By the way, I hate to get off topic. This is the one croc right here. We got a fish, then a wave, a whale, and a palm tree. I didn't know you could do this. By the way, they have like the little buttons you can put in. The other one is the other croc. This has a pineapple. It has a little seahorse and a shark on that one too. I was going beach theme, in case you haven't noticed.
Couldn't pick that up.
No, I kind of figured
Couldn't
you
pick
would.
that up with the drink. There's a drink right there. There it is. I don't know if Liquid Death's going to work out, but maybe that. Maybe.
I probably need to drink more water since I've been out here.
Are you comfortable with The Rock as a heel? Like, I know, like, okay, now this is off we go, and Rock and Roman are going to be, they're going to appear on SmackDown on Friday.
My family.
Are you comfortable with Rock in this role?
Yeah, I think he did some of his best work ever as Hollywood Rock. You kind of brought it up last week. I mean, like his work in that role was fantastic. So it's kind of like, I mean, I'm not upset about it. I'm happy and when he's engaged and when he's really into what he's doing, kind of like with most like larger than life stars that do this, I mean, it's money. Like I said, you can have him play that role until WrestleMania, and then things can change. I still think, like I said, there's still some sort of connection with Cody and all this, because Cody didn't talk shit about his family. He talked shit about Roman. Like, let's be honest. He said your family would be ashamed of you. Nothing bad about them. He respects them. He said it about Roman. They'd be unhappy with you. They'd be disappointed in you. They'd be ashamed of you. Not they suck or they're awful or whatever it is. Like, he never said anything. He said how's Jay, which he's doing pretty well. But nevertheless, probably challenge Gunther at some point. But like it's like this Monday I think he's got him for the IC title, which there you go. I mean, that goes to show you that there's not going to be. Watch for an angle on SmackDown. I'm going to kind of Nostra Kyle this year of Paul Heyman talking to Jimmy and being like, so you failed at Royal Rumble. You have your two ancestors here, your two elders here that are, near the head of the table or at the head of the table. What are you doing? But your brother, Jay, he's got a match on Monday for a championship that you could have. Like, entice him to obviously interrupt that match, make a scene, and eventually set up Jay versus. That match needs to happen. That's
and I had on my card the match that's going to happen on Monday, which is fine. It's fine that it's happening on Monday. Cool. It's fine. I think there was nobody left. Main event Jey Uso.
So they call Belia. Yeah. Yeet.
Yeah,
Yeet.
he's on fire. He is on fire. He is
I can't
way
believe
over.
you bought a Yeet shirt. That's awesome. I should have bought one of those for when I came out here. It's more pineapple based in Bedford than it is in Hawaii right now. I'm telling you, with
Yeah,
the
it is.
Yeet.
Yeah, it
Shit.
is. No, Rebecca got this for me. She got
Nice.
this and in the CM Punk shirt. Got uh, got that going. There he is, CM Punk.
Yep. People are looking at me
I'll,
weird.
hey, when you find a wrestling fan, when you find it and you find the one that gets it, it's a damn good feeling. It
Oh
really
yeah.
is. It,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say this with The Rock. I think, first off, my ultimate dream is for all Hollywood Rock to be there. Like, somewhere in this build, full on Hollywood Rock would be there. But we probably
Open
won't get.
vest,
Yeah,
sunglasses.
but I can almost guarantee we're not going to get him because he'll be cheered. And so I think you'll get. I think you'll get A-hole Rock. You know, try to oversee the family and really, really double down on the Cody hate. It's intriguing. It's all intriguing to see. And it gives us something to talk about because, like, we do this, we take these podcasts on Wednesdays. We come back and so many things have happened. Since, like, it was hard to do the show last week because, like, oh, we're doing a kickoff. And, like, so we could tape something, we could put it out there. And, like, oh, cool. Oh, here's what happened on the kickoff. So it's a great story. And I'm just happy that The Rock is, like you said, fully engaged in the story. There is something there with the board of directors angle because technically with the board, technically, The Rock does have more power to Triple H by technicality.
Now is Triple H? Is he part of the? He's not part of the board. He's just the CCO of WWE, the Chief Content Officer.
Correct.
So there are obviously levels, and one board member can't do it all. He needs to have the majority. That's how usually boards work: 3 out of 5 or whatever it is have to vote. But he is also The Rock, and his influence in that board and in those meetings, because of the friendships he has with Ari and a couple of the people that are a part of it. I mean, he could use that in some of his stories. The fact that he's coming to a SmackDown and most likely will do a couple shows you that he's bought into this program. It also, like I said, it can set up Rock and Roman at 41. I don't know where next year's WrestleMania is supposed to be. I've heard Minnesota. I've heard Vegas. I don't know where it's going to end up being per se, but Vegas would be interesting, just from the standpoint of that's where the press conference happened and all that stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just happy he's here and he's enjoying what he's doing, like you said, and he's actually contributing to the show. And it's not eclipsing everything, but it still feels like it's a big deal. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
it's a huge deal, and we're in good shape.
yeah.
Rundown. I saw this scenario play. I think it was Bully Ray on Bus Open Radio, Sirius XM.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought this up. I don't know if it'll work, but let me just lay it out. So I wrote down in my notes here that there's a scenario in place where a babyface tribal chief, Roman Reigns, could beat Hulk Hogan's championship record, and everyone's happy. I don't know how they would get there. I don't know how Roman beating Cody would make everyone happy unless there's some kind of a heel turn with The Rock, like The Rock fully turns on Roman. I don't know how it would happen. There is a part of me, though, that would think, okay, maybe, just maybe, WWE wants to erase, perhaps, Hulk Hogan's championship reign. And they're really close with Roman Reigns. I think Roman's like 200 days away from
It'd be
breaking
like
Hogan's record.
It's around just after SummerSlam is when he would break it, I guess. And the problem with that is now The Rock already turned. So if The Rock somehow helps Roman keep his title, they're both heels.
Right.
So there had to be something that goes on between The Rock and Roman after WrestleMania that keeps the people like, oh yeah, Roman, what the hell's going on? Why is he getting screwed over by The Rock? That kind of thing. But in the process, in beating Cody, you're essentially again, one, you're discrediting everything he's done. Like if he loses at this WrestleMania, there's no reason why he should be anywhere near that title again.
It's over. It's over.
Yeah, the story's over at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not every story has a happy ending. And if I get that quote from Paul Heyman, I'm gonna hit my head against the wall. So I don't want to hear that.
Some innings lead to this. Lead to this.
Click.
Mm-hmm.
Click.
And not all endings are created equal, and not all endings are great. You know, and that's just what it is. But there is a scenario in place. I don't know how they would get there. I don't think they can get there where you could have a baby face Roman Reigns.
I think he also said that
Hulk
before
Hogan's record.
Before the press conference, I think is when he actually said that. If I remember correctly, when they recorded or whatever it was, they just released the clip not too long ago. But it's a tough angle to try and get through as far as how to get people to cheer for him after people they cheered for him with Sammy, but it was more for Sammy. It wasn't really for Roman. It was the fact that Sammy was keeping that storyline afloat.
Yeah.
For as long as he did. Now, again, people recognize it's a big deal. He's a star, all that stuff. But at the same point, it's kind of like there's some fatigue, honestly. And if you really want to face Roman, he needs to lose.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Like, he needs to fall off. And that is where The Rock can really turn on Roman fully. Where it's now, not only did we lose our tag team match, theoretically, the night before, but then you lost the seat. Cody's a champion. He beat you. If that's unacceptable, that's when The Rock can turn on Roman and beat the hell out of him at the end of WrestleMania. And that's where it could be a year-long build. And people could actually be on Roman's side because he lost and he lost clean. Like, he actually lost. He comes out, maybe that first SmackDown afterwards, and actually admits, like, never thought I'd say it. Cody beat me. Like, that kind of thing. If that's how they want to build that and get him to that point where people are cheering him again because he's a face, there's a lot of self-reflection that needs to happen, and unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. I think the problem is he's so far on that one side that trying to pull him back is going to be so difficult.
And I don't think it's possible. I just don't think it's possible.
He's now turned into and I know we don't talk about him as much anymore because he's pretty much done with WWE, but like the Brock Lesnar effect, like that kind of like, he's not coming back to wrestle LA Knight for the US Championship. Like, he's not doing or wrestling some random person. Like, it's got to mean something for Roman now. Otherwise, he's only 38, 37, 38, but he's probably close to retiring at this point because there's not much more for him to do. I mean, he's won a Royal Rumble. He's obviously been the longest reigning champion we've seen in a long time. I mean, I don't know. And I got my wife in front of me now putting clothes in the. Yeah.
Let's quickly point out some quick storylines. You have your list coming up in a little bit. There's also an AEW story I want to get to as well. Tony Khan, saying Tony Khan things. He's
going to be okay with that. So you're going to actually like my response to that, actually.
We'll see. Let me go through some quick storylines since this main event scene has taken up all the time. Bayley, Damage Ctrl breakup. I think so far that story's been outstanding.
It's honestly, besides the Cody story, which has been going on for, like I said, 2 to 3 years. I mean, Damage Ctrl storyline is actually probably the best one going right now. And her getting that moment at WrestleMania, because I don't see why she wouldn't win that match, will be awesome. I think at the end, having Becky and Bayley probably as champions is going to be telling as far as giving Bayley her moment, getting Becky back on top. And it's going to mean a lot for, the media stuff and all that too. And Netflix is going to get super excited. Oh my gosh, there's going to be a whole bunch with that. And It makes a lot of sense. I mean, at the same point too, like Rhea being champion would be interesting, but I mean, it's good to see Bayley getting that recognition now because she has kind of taken a backseat, right, over these number of years to Becky with her crazy run, with Charlotte winning 14 championships or whatever it is, or how many she's won, 25,000, whatever it was.
Yeah, and that might be an undercount.
Obviously, Sasha debuting in a month and a half or whatever it is at an AEW, which bless her heart, that's going to be. Once she realizes how much of a shit show that's going to be, I think she'll eventually come back. But I think she needs to go there for not for a. She doesn't need money, but I mean, like it's going to be a nice payday, and she'll also be able to be the head of it. Like there's no question she's the number one girl on that roster.
And then we'll see her at WrestleMania 41.
Yeah, if she punches Tony Khan, we'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah, we'll see. Underrated MVP of this whole Damage Ctrl storyline, Adam Pearce. Because I didn't realize like the whole Japanese thing was a big deal. Did you see his reaction in the background a couple weeks ago? Adam Pearce, low key, has been putting in some good work as a GM, and kind of helps when you're give compared to Nick Aldis.
They both have done great. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as like, it doesn't feel like it's being pushed. Like other GMs, like the Daniel Bryans and like the Stephanie McMahons and those ones, it felt like really in our face. These guys are actually doing GM shit. Yeah, we're actually negotiating with Braun Breaker to see who gets him. Like there's legit, there's 2 offers, that kind of thing. Like they're doing things that normal general managers or managers would do. Like which is kind of, it's not like, oh, we're doing a promo. Like no, that's not what your job is. Your job isn't to go out there and talk to the people for 10 minutes. It's to have a contract get signed and then leave, or have a backstage interaction with talent that are trying to talk to you about why they're upset about something. Like the Logan Paul Elimination Chamber thing was great. Like I should be getting the Rock treatment. I'm gonna come in, slap the piss out of somebody, and back on the jet. Like that was
hey, how
great.
about Nick? How about if we're playing storyline? How about Nick Aldis knowing his talent, or knowing his roster? Let Logan Paul riff. Give it a second. All right, I'll face him. I don't like it. I'll face him. I'm gonna beat him.
Do it. Who's my opponent gonna be?
Yeah. Well, and then Adam Pearce was like, "Well, wait a minute. How do you do?" It's little details like that we're seeing in Triple H's WWE that we have not seen probably ever.
I like
the attitude there because the attitude there very entertaining, and those guys were at the peak and they were wrestling smart, but that was still Crash TV where anything can happen at any given day. Here, every character, every gap is being filled either immediately or being slowly built towards. Everything is connecting and everything makes sense.
I also like the fact that when Triple H came down with both the GMs in the ring, like what happens when you get in trouble with your boss and you're like a mid-level boss and the boss above you comes down and talks to you? You play nice. You make sure everyone's like they did that, right? There's been tension between those two for weeks, for months, and now when Triple H came down and as a united front, that kind of thing, like that worked really well with them in backstage where he's like, okay, Adam, you're my guest. Tell Logan who his opponent is, that kind of thing. Like it was kind of like, okay, Daddy told us to behave, so we're behaving until Daddy leaves. Then we're gonna start bitching at each other again. Like that was it's real. It's exactly how if you're an assistant manager at Target, you have 2 assistant managers and you have your regular GM, and the GM comes down and hosts a meeting with you 2 sitting next to him. Like you guys play nice during that meeting. After the meeting, if he's still around, whatever it was, but when he leaves, fuck you, bro. Like you do that.
Yeah.
Like it felt real. It felt good. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm okay with that. It actually makes sense, and they built these 2 from a standpoint of I actually don't mind when they show up on the screen. Whereas previously it's like, oh fuck, here we go again, another GM segment. Even when they had like Mick Foley and those guys then too, it was kind of like, okay, you're forcing this so much, or Kurt Angle, whatever it was. This is kind of nice because they're 2 names that you don't expect to even jump in the ring. We know obviously Aldis can still, and I'm sure he will at some point. But I mean, Adam Pearce ain't doing shit. He's done. So I mean, like it's kind of nice, honestly.
But Adam Pearce is trying to control his talent. Guys like R-Truth, On Monday night.
He's
Judgment
gonna
Day
come
had
up. He's gonna come up later on my Onahu list for sure. Like, yeah, it's.
I will say this about R-Truth. People are gonna jump at me. I don't care. Of the 3 returns from Survivor Series, Punk, R-Truth, or Randy Orton. R-Truth so far has been the best return. On a week-to-week basis, it would have been Punk, but he's hurt. I can't judge Punk. And Randy Orton's doing his thing, we know, but R-Truth is making these shows better. And it's nothing corny. It's legit like wholesome comedy. Judgment Day, they're trying hard to Damien is trying hard to. All right, let me get you. Okay, okay, we got to beat you up a little. Okay, you don't get. Okay, now we got to whoop your ass. Now we got to really. We got to lay you out.
You're building to that Miz and Truth match at WrestleMania with Priest and Balor for the titles. And honestly, the sad part is, like, Miz and Truth could honestly win those titles, and it's going to be a huge pop. Like,
Yeah,
it's going to be insane. And he's still not going to know he's padding with, so it's great. You have no idea who he's actually a partner with at that point. Maybe it's Tom and Nick. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
The reality this set up with R-Truth, when DX saved him. I'm sorry, DIY saved him. How about that?
I have 2 words for you. Thank you.
It's like, no. It's like, that's not us.
Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. The game Triple H. Ciampa's like, what the fuck?
How about that?
That was great.
The entire elimination. So last week we were like, the Chamber's coming up. Like, I need some people. What are y'all doing with the Chamber? I don't know what they have done. Usually not qualifying match guy. I think in general qualifying matches are lazy. But the way they've done, at least the men's side, we're not going to announce all the matches right away. You're going to randomly find out who your opponent is.
Yeah.
I love that. Absolutely love it.
Interesting matchups too. Like with like Sammy and Randy Orton. I mean, you're getting fresh one-on-one matchups, but like you're kind of also pigeonholing some guy like Sammy who probably deserves to be in that match. It's tough from that aspect. I like that okay, these are the 12 participants, and we have no idea who they're facing. But like Miz and Logan Paul, we kind of know who's going to be in that match. Unfortunately, I mean, Miz isn't beating Logan Paul. He's a champion. That's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. That's unfortunate. I mean, there's some of those like matchups, like LA Knight and Ivar. No offense to Ivar, but I mean, come on, like we know who's going to be in that match. Randy Orton and Sammy was probably the one where I was like, but they're not going to have Randy get beat. If he's going to get beat, it's got to be in a special kind of match, and it makes more sense for him.
And now Sammy is in a losing streak, and I put that in quotes because when you acknowledge losing streaks in professional wrestling, that means something good is hopefully going to come out on the other side.
Maybe. I mean, he's in a rough place too because honestly, imagine he's probably going to stay on Raw. He's going to have to deal with the World Heavyweight Championship and that kind of situation per se. He's kind of in a rough spot because it seems like McIntyre is like full speed ahead to getting that shot. And then he'll probably hold that title for a couple months until Punk comes back and they'll have their feud. And I imagine CM Punk's probably going to win it if Seth isn't already going for it. But I think Seth's probably going to take some time off after WrestleMania because it's deserved. I think that makes a lot of sense. Whereas Becky will be champion. Seth will be like, okay, I'll stay home with the kid. You be the title. You be the champ. I was doing it for a year. Now it's your turn. That kind of thing. It makes sense relationship-wise for them too. But, like, I don't see a spot where Sammy wins that championship anytime soon. Like, that's the problem.
I've heard people say, like, even in if somehow, some way, Sammy could work his way into a triple threat with him and McIntyre and Rollins. Look, I'll just say this. My Sammy match is still in play. My match is still in play.
Oh my God, I hate that match so much.
But I love what they're doing.
If that happens, I swear to God, I'm quitting. I'm done. Like, you have no idea how upset I'm gonna be if you can get the entire rest of the card right, and I'll be like, dude, awesome, great job. You get that match right, I'm fucking done. Like you have no idea. I'm not coming back. Like I'm staying.
And for those who don't know the details, it ain't just the match. It's everything involved with the match. You can look at the clips. It's Sammy versus Jinder. It's with the presidential candidates on each side. There you go. It's the whole. It's the whole thing. It's
my actual nightmare would be happening if the match took place. The sad part is the match will be good. Jinder and Sammy be a good match. The problem is
everything else.
The elephants,
Yeah.
Trump, the Biden. It's too much. Like it's too much.
Oh man!
Holy
right.
shit!
We're gonna wait to do the AEW story. We're just gonna wait. You have your list. The list is back.
Yeah. So
Hawaii style here.
Yeah. It's an Ohana Hana list. It's the 5 people in WWE right now that need to do what I'm doing, essentially, and that's take a vacation, calm the fuck down, essentially, with what's going on. Take a breather, rest a little bit. You know, maybe they're having some bad luck or they're having too much going on at this point. They need to just take a step back and really assess what the fuck is going on in their lives right now, because there's a lot of shit that's not going great. So I don't have papers, unfortunately, because we're here. But number 5 on this list for me, and I'll have you clip this and send this to me later, but we'll make it shorter. But number 5 is Rhea Ripley, believe it or not. Every time she gets in the ring with Nia Jax, she gets laid the fuck out. Maybe she needs to just stand on the stage a little bit and just hang out, give her a little bit of space, because apparently Nia has now turned into Godzilla at this point. I don't know what it is. Like she's eating her up and spitting her out.
Nia is part of the bloodline.
God damn it.
Nia was on that tree. She is part of the bloodline.
I forgot about that. So Nia is number 1, or number 5, I should say, or not Nia, but Rhea Ripley is number 5 on the Ohana Ana list, because it's, yeah.
You're saying just based on
chill the fuck out.
You've been taking beatings. And think about this. You've been carrying Judgment Day. You're the de facto leader of Judgment Day. You're pretty much forgetting about Judgment Day problems, trying to maintain your championship. Becky's coming after you. There's a lot going on. And you got to carry a whole pay-per-view. Home country. That's a lot of pressure.
She should take that week off before the event. I know we're big about, go-home shows, whatever it is. And you know what? Do a little bit of Ohamana. Just take a little bit of a little vacation, a little rest before the match. Get yourself centered, get yourself good. And then come back and beat the shit out of Nia like we all hope you do, so you can go to WrestleMania. But she needs a little bit of a break on it.
I am kind of enjoying the brief run the next couple of weeks. This is babyface Rhea.
Yeah,
I am enjoying it. And then once she beats Nia, she'll
pop back over the heel.
Right back.
Well, she's in between a little bit. I mean, because she's going to get cheered no matter what she does. So it's kind of because she has the catchy slogan and she has it's all gonna click with the fans, that kind of stuff. But once her and Becky get in the ring, it'll be fun. So
absolutely.
Number 4 for me is R-Truth. if there's a guy that needs to take a break, he needs to take a break. I'm trying to get into this fucking group, man. Unless he just came back.
He just came back.
I'm not saying take a break from TV. I'm saying take a break from doing what he's doing on TV right now. As far as trying to get in this. If he goes in that clubhouse one more time, JD McDonough might take out an actual gun and shoot him. I don't know what's going to happen, but he needs to, take a breather, for real.
If somebody is making money for you, I don't care if they're supposed to be in it or not, how do you kick him out? He's making money for you. He's actually out there selling your merch. He's giving you your money. All right, so what? He's giving you the money during the match and you lose. You got paid.
It's honestly too much. It's insane, and he's getting his ass kicked every week now. It's the pre-initiation or the pre-initiation that he just keeps.
He's trying to get Miz to fly out. Oh yeah, you can make it to Lexington in 2 minutes.
So then you have to get DX or DIY to save him. I mean, yeah, it's yeah, he needs to take a breath. Not take a vacation, but he needs to take a rest. Like, give it a rest on that. Focus more on maybe actually trying to beat them up for a change instead of staring at Damian Priest deep into those dark eyes, that kind of thing. So that's just my 2 cents on that, but nevertheless. Number
Can't
three.
beat that.
Number 3 on this list. So it was a bit of a stretch for me, but I'm picking him because every time I see him on TV, he's fighting someone he probably shouldn't. Let me talk about Akira Tozawa for a second from Alpha Academy. I'm throwing a bit of a curveball in here. So this dude, all he does is challenge like Ivar. Like Omos is going to make a fucking random appearance on Raw, and Tozawa's going to do a stupid little fucking dance and challenge him to a match. And we're going to see Omos literally take someone and throw him into the 500 section deck of a stadium. Like, it's going to be insane.
I have a theory. On
Tozawa or Omos?
Tozawa. I have a theory.
Okay.
So, think about all that time. I think it was 205 Live.
Yeah.
He is so victimized fighting all those small dudes. He is going to make sure all he does is fight big dudes. He'll never fight a small dude ever again. He wants to fight big dudes.
Well, he's fighting big dudes, that's for sure. Yeah. 400-pound Viking. There you go.
Yeah. If Mark Henry could come out of retirement and go to WWE.
If he's wearing that salmon jacket, I'll see it again. Hell yeah. Let's do it.
The Great Khali. All of you. All you big guys. Big Show, you can make another turn. There you go. Once again.
Stop booking AEW's TV for him and making it too easy for Tony. Stop it.
I just gave the Rampage card right there. There you go. AEW Rampage. I just gave it to you.
So I'm going to go to number 2. This may actually surprise you as well. Number 2 for me is Braun Breaker. Believe it or not. Who the fuck cares? Advice. Asking Triple H for advice about where you're going. You're the heel Braun Breaker right now.
But he's trying to change. He's trying to change.
No, because he's great as a heel. He needs to be a badass. He needs to be. He needs to present himself like that. Not. I have good offers from both. What do you think I should do? Fuck what you should do. Like, you make up your own goddamn mind and make it a big thing, and then fucking spear someone through the ring. Like, do it because you're the sickest spear. Period. He needs to rest on that shit. Oh, Hawana Hana, go back and do it better. Like, come on.
You talking to one of the best heels ever, Triple H? Is that not satisfying?
This is babyface Triple H though. He's right now. I'm CCO Triple H. I'm the good guy. Rock slap Cody, and I'm upset about it. Fuck that shit. Like, no, that's not who you go. He needs to go and talk to like fucking Paul Heyman or one of those guys. Like, what should I do? That kind of shit. Because Paul actually managed him down in NXT when they had that match with John Cena and Mello and all that stuff. So like, that's who you go to. And Paul making an appearance was smart between those guys. But he needs to be, that's who he needs to ask. Someone else that is in that arena because he wants to be there. Triple H is removed from there. Paul Heyman is currently in that arena as far as he is connected to the main event.
Maybe he's asking everybody. Maybe it's like Cody.
If he does that,
maybe Brian's
that's even worse.
Going through a council.
Worked so well for Cody the first time. He got bitch slapped by The Rock. There you go. Fantastic.
I
talked to him.
When Braun shows up, it's really for Baron Corbin. He just jumps in and
Corbin goes, "Thanks for the comeback, kid."
Yeah, it's my spot now, bitch.
Insane. But he's my number 2, just because he needs to take advantage. And so my number 1, and this actually number 1 should be no surprise, because he does have ties to the area in which I'm currently in now. The Rock is my number 1 on this list. Yeah.
He needs a break.
He needs to calm the fuck down. He needs to rest
change
on that
professional
bullshit.
wrestling. What do you mean he needs a break?
So he's saying things, and this is my only issue with him in that scenario, is that Cody didn't actually insult his family. Like, didn't insult his ancestors, as he put it, the big line where he gritted his teeth and he showed his emotion. Like, and everyone's like, oh, shit, he's acting. Oh, my God. Like, he didn't actually insult the ancestors. He insulted his cousin. He didn't have to say ancestors. If he wouldn't have said ancestors, I would have been fine. But he brought more into this for more of a why. Cody didn't make fun of it.
Real quick, I want to point out that the police video, the sound that you're hearing is coming from Kyle's video. That is not happening here in Bedford.
For once. It's kind of surprising. Yeah. It sounds like it's an ambulance. All right, we're good. No big deal. Someone just heard. That's fine.
I was going to say, let's go live.
Yeah, I'm done with that shit. No, but The Rock, he knows.
Could have been breaking news. Wait, hold up. What do you mean you're done? You could have been breaking news.
Yeah, right. News. I can break it from the 10th floor of my hotel. There's an ambulance.
We can put that on iHeartRadio. We'll put that there.
This is the most they're getting out of me on iHeart now. There you go. but Dwayne, my friend, Oholana Hana, from me to you, take a rest, my friend. If there's one phrase I've learned in Hawaii so far, it's that one. It's reset yourself a little bit and come correct on Friday Night SmackDown with more actual based, hate towards Cody, as opposed to, well, you insult his ancestors, it's my ancestors. He didn't insult your ancestors. He called Roman a bitch. Like, you could say insulted your family because he did, because Roman's your family, but you also wanted to fight Roman yourself. So make up your fucking mind. Like, I like logic, Mr. No Neck. And when it comes to...
Why ain't got no neck, man?
You're doing those shoulder shrugs too much, man. Those shoulder shrugs in that Iron Paradise getting a little bit too much.
Man. No more tank tops for The Rock. No more. No more
tank tops and dress pants. What the fuck is wrong with you?
No more.
What, you go to the club? What,
hey,
you man, at the club?
Hey, just come out of turtlenecks or something, man. No more. Like, that's enough, man. That's enough.
Nation of Domination Rock, yeah. Like early Nation of Domination Rock. Open Hawaiian shirt, sunglasses. Lots, like too much eyebrow. Like way too much eyebrow. Because he's trying to get it over, like too much eyebrow. Like, yeah. But that's my Oholana list for folks that need to take a rest.
So from 5 to 1, who you got again?
So Rhea is 5. 4. Sorry, Truth. God damn it. 3 is Akira Tozawa. 2 is Braun Breaker. Yep. And 1 is the man from America Samoa, not too far from here. Technically Miami, but family from Samoa, Hawaiian Islands around the area. Is The Rock.
Oh my goodness. That's good stuff. All right, let's see it with this, because I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of hungry. And since we're doing this on remote, I can actually see how much time.
Yeah.
So we have a clock in the studio. It's not like a countdown.
We don't look
or
at
anything
that.
like that. And when the show starts, we don't even look at the clock. Like, nope. We don't.
We just go.
Today we can actually see the clock. So let's sit with this. Let's sit with AEW. So I sent you a piece. So we all know Raw got the big deal with Netflix coming next year. SmackDown's going to USA. NXT's going to the CW this fall. WWE's made a lot of money, or they're going to make a lot of money, and especially from Netflix. Tony Khan has come out and said this is good for them because AEW, who's in a contract year with TNT and TBS, their deal's up this year, and they expect a huge. This is what he said. They expect a huge increase for AEW programming. He is bullish on AEW media rights.
Oh, hey.
You believe he should be bullish on AEW media rights increase?
Yeah. Because WWE's spoken for. There's no more competition going for one of those big contracts. So now he has leverage as far as what they're getting paid. Is he going to get that? No. But, I mean, he'll be able to say, hey, they got this. We think we're worth this. That kind of thing. You can get a couple billion probably out of Warner Brothers Discovery, too, because WWE isn't an option for Warner Brothers Discovery anymore. So if they want to keep some sort of wrestling on their programming, on their channels, on Max, whatever it is. I mean, this is their route to do it. So no, it's great news for Tony. He's not going to get WWE money out of this. He's not going to get $5 billion over 10 years. But, excuse me, realistically, $1.5, $2 billion over a time frame. I mean, it's doable. I don't know how many years it'd be, but I mean, he could still get some money out of that. Now, is he going to be able to recover all the losses, and are they actually going to be able to make a profit? It might be still kind of tough. They're still early on in their process, but it's good because he's the competition is gone. As far as like other streaming services, whatever it is, it's going to be exclusively with them. They just have to figure out the numbers. But I mean, it's.
Well, my thing is though. First off, Warner Brothers Discovery, TBS, TNT, for the open market. First off, they're willing to take all of those hours of programming. Dynamite, I will give them. Like Dynamite is, even though we complain about the show every week, they do get viewers. So
800,000 would be. There was a tough.
But
it's windy.
They're getting something. Rampage. In fact, you can't get any viewers to flip over from SmackDown to watch wrestling. It's not happening. And
No.
Collision blew it with CM Punk. So in Collision, I believe is only getting 300,000 viewers a week. So be able to does it matter? Oh, in Ring of Honor, it's just we're getting reports like they're begging people to stick around for Ring of Honor. It's not happening.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Are they going to be able to negotiate 6 hours, 5 hours of AEW programming? I can see if it was one show. Dynamite. I can even see if it was original setup or the Rampage setup when it was just Dynamite and Rampage. I can see that. But all of a sudden, when you add on third show, I'm not even sure if Warner Brothers Discovery wants to take all of that on, because I think they're losing money having that Saturday show instead of just airing a movie.
That's interesting. I think if there's two shows they would save, it would be Dynamite and Collision. Because Rampage is ass. It doesn't do anything. I mean, they could do a stream only third show, like a stream only Rampage, whatever it is. It doesn't air. Like TNT, TNT, or TBS wise, I'm sure they would like to keep something on live TV, especially because Raw is moving off of live TV, and it's just SmackDown on Peacock or USA, whatever it is, that kind of thing.
And I mentioned this on one of the earlier shows we did. I actually do think this is an opportunity for AEW to go to TNT or go to another network and say, hey, be an option on Monday nights. Yes, you have the Netflix thing with Raw. You do have some old school people who want to stick around and watch wrestling on regular old cable as opposed to flipping over to streaming. I do think there is an opening for AEW for Monday nights. I think that's there. If you do Monday and maybe you stick with your Wednesday or Monday and Thursday, I do think there's an opening there.
I think that it's tough just from a standpoint of if they go up against Raw, even if it's not on technical broadcast television, but people are still going to be streaming Raw, and it's going to be.
You think that idea is stupid?
I think they're going to get beat, and it's going to look bad because the amount of streams Raw gets compared to how many live viewers they'll get on TNT or TBS on Monday. They want to keep Dynamite looking strong. And the only way they can keep that looking strong is keeping it on a Wednesday against NXT because they can outdo NXT every week. Because NXT, again, is WWE they care about it, but they're also not they're not butthurt about losing by 50 to 100,000 viewers to AEW's main show when it's their third show. That's what no one gets at the end of all this. Oh, it was a Wednesday Night War. It's like, for what? Like, they brought back, WWE did a couple of their stars for that one show on NXT. And they outdrew AEW and they outdid out AEW as far as ratings by over 200,000 viewers. Like, if they wanted to, they could bury that with putting a main show on Wednesdays. They don't do that because WWE doesn't see AEW as that kind of competition. They see it as another place to work, as opportunity for people to make some money. That's great. If things don't work out for WWE, yeah, go ahead, AEW. That's fine. Like Sasha, Mercedes Moné, that kind of thing. If we can't get you to a contract, but they're willing to pay you what they're willing to pay you, sure, go ahead. Like,
yeah,
that's
good
great.
luck.
Make your money, do your thing. You're going to be she's going to be the lead horse there. The problem is when she comes back to WWE is where she has actual competition. After Toni Storm over there's nobody else that really stands up to Sasha. And even then with Toni, she's doing good work, but she's not on that level of not yet at least, of the Beckys, the Rheas, the Biancas, those kind of things, where they've made event huge shows and it draws. There's a big difference. And the way the women's division is just booked in WWE compared to AEW is just fantastic. I mean, WWE does a great job making the women feel relevant now. Even the tag team division doesn't feel like it's an afterthought. Like, it feels like there's actual tag teams. You know, freaking the Casey Catanzaro and Katana Chance, whatever her name is now, and her partner. Like, those two. I mean, you've got Asuka, who is one of the most accomplished singles women's wrestlers of all time, with Kairi Sane. You have actual built-in tag teams that make sense. Like, it's like, okay, like, it works with that. With AEW, it's tough. And trying to sell that to Warner Brothers and Discovery and that kind of stuff too. Like, oh, we're gonna have Sasha and it's gonna be crazy, this big thing. It's like, that's great. You have one star. Who's she gonna fight against? Because you can only run her and Toni so many times. What's after that? Paige? She's been irrelevant on TV, right, for the past however long it is. I haven't seen any stories about her at all, or anything popping coming through. The only time I've seen the women's division in AEW getting mentioned is Toni, and even then, it's very minimal. I've seen more. I told you last week more about TNA with Jordan Grace and what she did than I have than AEW's women's roster over the past 3 months. I mean, it is what it is. Like, and again, she'll take that money. She'll make Chris Jericho probably type money over there, if not maybe a little below him. But moving to Mondays would be a death sentence still, even if Raw is not on Mondays. Like, it's tough. They need to get rid of Rampage. They need to stay. Wednesday, Saturday can work because WWE isn't focused on Wednesday, Saturday. They have their NXT show, but they're not focused on NXT as their main product.
Yeah.
Like, NXT's, I'm sure if you ask the guys and girls there, they want to beat AEW, but people on Raw or SmackDown don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, it sounds like a place where you can make some money. Cool. Like, we have friends over there. We have people that work there we know. Cool. They don't see it as a competition. I mean, I think it got blown way out of proportion very early because AEW was new. But it's slowly turning into now a TNA after TNA was competitive, a Ring of Honor, that kind of thing, where it's like, again, it's another place to work. You make a little bit more money than you can obviously working the bingo hall or working at the fucking whatever in Cleveland. You know, Wolstein Center on a Thursday morning in Cleveland or whatever it is. But like, it's just not comparable.
I'm gonna give you a scenario that I'm not for. I bet you Tony's thinking about it. If they go this route, this is a death sentence. I think he's thinking maybe the 7 hour or 6 hours of program throughout the week may not work. Maybe we'll put Collision on Max or something. I'm thinking. This is what I think he's thinking. Dynamite 3 hours. And here's the thing. I know he was against that. He was against that years ago. But that was because everything was clicking. Everything creatively was clicking.
Debatable.
Compared to WWE back when Vince was running it, things were clicking.
It's still closer, but it's still like
there were flaws, but selling out arenas. Watching and talking about AEW. So Tony was able to think like a professional wrestling fan. He knows 3 hour shows are for professional wrestling shows. 2 hours is perfect. His problem is that he sees there are less butts and seats. He sees nobody's sticking around for Ring of Honor. Nobody's really sticking around for Rampage. He has to somehow make that money back. Now he has to think like a businessman. And he's going to make the fatal mistake getting the third hour. We don't get butts and seats. Shows we recruit money for AEW. Add more pay-per-views. Starting to do. More pay-per-views. Additional hour to Dynamite. Sacrifice quality. Earn back the money that he is losing. Less people are attending these shows.
Well, think about that too. Yeah, I mean, it's you're adding an extra hour. One of the big criticisms that WWE has right now still is that Raw's 3 hours long. It's insane. And AEW has a talent roster that could fill a 3-hour show. Like, they have good and people. Again, it's all like, oh, you speak on AEW. Like, they have good talent. I told you the biggest problem is their booker, the person who runs the company, is a wrestling fan, not a wrestling person. Like, that's the biggest issue. Triple H wrestled for 25 years, whatever it was, on the highest level in front of everybody. This is nothing new to him. Like, he is used to it. He knows what works and what doesn't, whether you like him or not. And he does actually listen to his fan base, i.e. Cody getting now the chance to wrestle Roman at WrestleMania, because the plan was Rock and Roman. And Cody bowing out and facing Seth. He saw the reaction on social media and all that stuff. That's how you get people to change their minds. Triple H made that move. Tony Khan is kind of deaf to when it comes to social media as far as making changes. Now, he'll talk to people on social media all day. He'll comment on statuses, criticizing him and all that stuff. But instead of actually being an adult and going out there and doing something about it, he just fires back on Twitter or makes another big announcement that's pushing off another big announcement or whatever. It's like, dude.
We're going to pitch you a picture!
It's tough. And I told you, it's so tough to watch that show, even though it's only 2 hours. And it's almost like I have to build my wants around the one thing I know I want to see, like when NJF wasn't hurt. Like being able to sit there and watch him.
So do we have to – we can't do it this week because you're still out of Hawaii. Do we have to give ourselves a home – had a notification. Do we have to give ourselves a homework assignment at some point? Do we have to force ourselves to watch a full episode of AEW?
If you really want to make it torture, make it Rampage.
But that's only an hour.
So that's be Collision, and probably I would think Collision would be the one.
Yeah, because we tape on Wednesdays.
We can't, unless we record Dynamite and then watch it. But then it's going to be a week old by the time we put it. Yeah, so it almost has to be Collision.
So
and I can't watch it this week.
No, we can't do it this week. But at some point, if we end up, the only way it will work if we taped on a Thursday. But if we taped on a Thursday, we have to watch a full Dynamite. Full Dynamite. We have to watch it. Full episode. We got to watch it. We got to take notes. We got to do it. And then review it the next day. Do a full review.
That sounds painful. Listen, I'm on vacation, all right? Why are you trying to torture me with these future plans? Like, why would you do something like that? I'm trying to enjoy myself. It's beautiful out here. The sun's back out. It's fantastic.
All right, fine. All right, that's cool. All right, after Mania, we got to do it. One episode, one time, and then if Pete allows us to, we tape on a Thursday instead of Wednesday. Watch a full episode of Dynamite. Dedicate most of the episode to AEW Dynamite. We break down segment by segment.
It sounds like when I had my podcast when I first came back, when it was just audio, and I actually did like the note taking for Raw and SmackDown, and I found myself hating it. Like,
oh yeah,
and it wasn't.
Yeah, Yeah, we don't take notes.
Like it was still when Vince was still kind of in charge, so it was obviously tough to watch anyway. But like having to like really pay attention and write stuff down.
So okay, so after WrestleMania, Chris Holtman was fired today. After WrestleMania,
I got that too. Yeah.
After WrestleMania, we'll do it. Maybe we'll ask the fans. One episode of Dynamite. We'll go through.
Say no, guys, please.
All right.
I'm gonna have to visualize myself here when I'm watching it, so I can actually breathe when I'm done. Jesus.
Kyle, you're in Hawaii. I'm gonna let you say it this week.
Really?
We're done. Yeah, we're done. The show's over. We'll let you say it.
Okay. But then, yeah, it's good. That means we probably should get out of here because if we keep doing this, our side hustle is going to become our main hustle. And I'm not about hustling right now. I'm about ohamanahana, which is resting and taking vacation. So, yeah. We'll see you guys next week. All right?